All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. After I posted that vitamin D video a few days ago, someone reached out and asked me what time I like to take vitamin D. Now, there's a lot of different opinions out there on the internet and in health circles about what the best time of day to take vitamin D is. There's some people that take it in the morning. There's some people who take it at midday. There's some people that take it at night, believe it or not. Now, personally, I don't like taking vitamin D at night. I think that kind of contradicts our wake and sleep cycles. I think that we're designed to absorb sunlight during the day. And even though when you take vitamin D, ladies and gentlemen, you're not getting the same benefits from being exposed to the sun, I think it's kind of contradictive to our biorhythms to take vitamin D as a supplement when the sun goes down. I hope that makes sense. So I work in an office setting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm inside a lot, although I do my best to get outside and ground myself to the earth. I do my best to get at least 20 minutes of direct sunlight a day. But due to the fact that there's so many aerosols in the air from all the chemtrail geoengineering protocols, all the aerosol, they've sprayed millions of pounds of nanonized aluminum, barium, strontium, mylar fibers, chaff, scalar waves, you name it, into the atmosphere. These metals and whatnot have created a shade cloth above most of our major cities, and we're just not receiving direct, unfiltered, natural, organic UV, radiation sunlight anymore. We are not getting enough sunlight, ladies and gentlemen, and the sunlight that we are receiving is 9 times out of 10 it's been filtered through the aerosols and the pollution and whatnot. So, due to the fact that there is so much junk in the air, and due to the fact that many of us can't be outside all the time, a lot of us are suffering from vitamin D deficiencies. Now, based on my research, 70% or more of the United States population is vitamin D deficient. So I'm just throwing this out there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that vitamin D supplementation replaces the sun or that it's better than the sun, because obviously it's not. But we live in the matrix, so we've got to do the best that we can while we navigate through the underworld. And supplementation can be very valid in today's world. Now, I'm going to try to stay on point in this video. I don't want to go off on too many tangents. I want to talk about what the best time to take vitamin D during the day is. Again, someone after I posted that video reached out and asked, what time do you take vitamin D? Can you shed some light on that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I like to take vitamin D between like 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. So I have a small gap of time where I'll supplement vitamin D. I prefer to take vitamin D close to noon when the sun is at pretty much its all-time, when it's at its maximum, ladies and gentlemen. Between 11:30 and 12 p.m. That's or 12:30. Excuse me. Apparently, my mouth isn't keeping up with my mind. I like to take it in between 9:30, preferably, and 12:30 p.m. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I do. It all depends what I'm doing. If it's the weekend, whatnot. If I've spent the night somewhere. So it's all based on context. But what I've been doing lately is I'll wake up at about 5 in the morning, and then I'll take my first dose of vitamin D around 9:30, and I'll take it topically. I'll put it on my stomach, and then around noon, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take another dose. And altogether right now, I'm taking about 4,000 to 4,500 IUs of vitamin D. I take some in the form of liquid that I put on my skin, and then I take some orally that comes in a little gel capsule that's mixed with olive oil. And the fat helps it drive into the system and be assimilated more readily. So again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that vitamin D is a replacement for the sun, because obviously you want to get more sun exposure if you can. But some of you guys live in parts of the world where it rains a lot or where it's overcast a lot. There are certain states where you guys just aren't getting enough sunlight. There are certain parts of the world where the sunlight is greatly hindered. And on top of that, with all of the stratospheric aerosol injections that are going on, we are experiencing something right now known as global dimming. And global dimming is a significant reduction in the amount of organic sunlight from hitting the earth. We receive massively smaller amounts of sunlight nowadays than we did 20 and 30 years ago. Again, it's called global dimming. You can look it up. So, magnesium deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, iodine deficiency, zinc deficiencies. These are just some of the major deficiencies that are plaguing the human species right now. And you can see it reflected in, I can see the sickness in people. I can see the sluggish behavior. I can see the strange behavior of the masses, the things that they find entertaining, or just how slow they move through this world. going to the store and really looking at people, seeing what's in their shopping carts and seeing how they're, I'm not trying to talk smack about people, ladies and gentlemen, but it's kind of hard for me to doubt the evidence that my own eyes produce and transceive. Again, we live in the matrix, ladies and gentlemen. They've shut you off to a large extent, and they've done that through your physiology by creating certain deficiencies, damaging your mitochondria, affecting your entire cellular system, damaging the quality of your cytoplasm, cellular fluid, endoplasmic reticulum. There's so many things that we could talk about in relation to how they've programmed us and damaged us at a cellular level, on the level of the DNA, but that's a subject for another rant. However, vitamin D, ladies and gentlemen, controls many different physiological processes within your body. Vitamin D appears to be more like a hormone than a vitamin. It's a really interesting substance. And we'll talk about it more in the near future, because I think that this is a missing piece in so many people's lives. Think about it. Ask yourself right now, ladies and gentlemen, do you receive 20 minutes a day of direct sunlight while you're naked? How many people have the luxury of doing that? Not too many people. In sunlight during the from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. is not strong enough, ladies and gentlemen, for you to be able to get the adequate levels of sunlight on your skin, and it's in the proper intensity for you to synthesize this incredible substance, vitamin D. The sun needs to be at high noon. It needs to be in its strongest output, ladies and gentlemen, for you to start synthesizing accurate levels of vitamin D. Now, that's just my opinion based on my research. There's some people who will tell you otherwise, but we were designed, ladies and gentlemen, to be exposed to the sun. In my opinion, we weren't designed to be inside, the house all day. We weren't designed to be afraid of the sun. When we put sunblock on our skin, we inhibit the flow of all of the different amazing different properties of the sun from being able to enter into us. We've been taught that the sun is our worst enemy. And in my opinion, sunscreen is a huge problem. It leads to a lot of health issues. Again, these are just my opinions. I got to say that, otherwise I can get in trouble. But sunscreen, highly unnatural. You don't see animals out in nature wearing sunscreen. You don't see trees wearing sunscreen. You don't see anything other than human beings wearing sunscreen. Now, I believe that there's certain, animals and whatnot that produce, I'm pretty sure hippo's skin actually produces its own SPF of sunscreen. So again, I'm not really well versed, or I'm not an expert in understanding how animals protect themselves from excessive amounts of sun, because too much sun, ladies and gentlemen, can be harmful to your health. It can burn you. It can make you feel drained. You can have heat stroke issues. But I don't believe that the sun is our worst enemy like we've been told it is. If you look outside, everything's green. Everything responds so magically to the sun. But in no way, shape, or form am I saying that it's just healthy to go out and get it constantly. But I think the quality of our health and the things that we eat directly affect how we synthesize vitamin D and how damaging or uplifting the quality. I think that personally, our state of health, ladies and gentlemen, in the medications that we take and a handful of other things that we do affects how the sun is either healthy for us or damaging. So I'm not going to get too much more into this right now. There's some certain things I want to say that I'm just not going to at this current time. But again, to wrap things up, someone asked me what time I take my vitamin D. I take it between preferably 9 o'clock in the morning, give or take, to about 12:30 in the afternoon. If I take it after then, and if I take it in stronger dosages than I do now after 12:30, I sometimes find that I have issues falling asleep. It appears that there is some association with vitamin D supplementation and insomnia. So you want to, at least in my opinion, take vitamin D earlier in the day and not when the sun goes down. I think it's really counterproductive. I see people on Reddit, I see people online talking about how they take vitamin D when they go to sleep. To me, that just throws the body out of alignment, throws its biorhythms out of place, because you would never really be synthesizing or absorbing large amounts of vitamin D while you were sleeping. Because the sun's down. Now, obviously, you can get vitamin D from foods as well, ladies and gentlemen, but in today's world, with the nutrient density and nutrient quality being greatly hindered due to modern agriculture and animal products filled full of garbage and whatnot, and certain other foods that are naturally high in vitamin D. Due to the bastardization of the food supply and the crops and whatnot, you're just not going to be able to get adequate amounts of, excuse me, one second, you guys, of vitamin D into your system through food. So supplementation is not something that I wish we had to do, but again, we do. We are navigating through the underworld, ladies and gentlemen. The Kundalini showed me in my early 20s that this is it's like a halfway world. It's a dimension in between a hell realm and a heaven realm. We're kind of in a purgatory of sorts right now, and we need to reawaken the Kundalini. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to realize that the programming is extensive, and we need to stop being bitches for the system. The system is designed to confuse you, bamboozle you, and take you away from fulfilling what you came here to do, ladies and gentlemen. You all have a higher mission in life. You're not going to be able to necessarily achieve that if you're sick, sluggish, slow and unhealthy. Okay, health is the foundation that everything else in your life is built upon, and without it, you have nothing. Your health is your armor shield. Again, we are navigating through the underworld. Life as you know it is much different than you probably think it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are living in a world that was designed to be a paradise that has been taken over by, I'm not even going to get into that, but I will absolutely say that this world has turned into something else in comparison to what it was designed to be, which is a living, breathing, shamanic, interactive heaven world, a garden where everything is provided for 10,000 times over. The abundance of nature is infinite. And they've stripped us of our minerals, stripped us of our self-worth, put us in these little boxes that we call homes, and they've pumped electromagnetic poisoning and pollution into our lives. We experience over 100 million times more electromagnetic radiation and pollution than our grandparents did, ladies and gentlemen. They are frying our DNA. And if you don't think that they're taking our health away from us, just consider the following. In 1976, the U.S. Public Health Department said that only 1.5% of all Americans were actually healthy. Again, in 1976, the U.S. Public Health Department said that only 1.5% of all Americans were actually healthy. And we're now here in 2019. There's more autism now than there ever was. There's more cancer now than there ever was. There's more diabetes, mental pathologies, obesity issues, chronic problems, Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, malaise, deficiencies through the board, iron deficiencies, anemia. Ladies and gentlemen, the food supply is filled full of glyphosate, is filled full of toxic byproducts from mainstream agricultural malpractice. On top of that, with all the acid rain here in this world and all of the aerosols, everything has been polluted, ladies and gentlemen, the streams, the ocean. So you can think this is all a joke. You can think that, oh, I came here to have fun, bro. I came here to have fun. Stop showering me in negativity. It's people like you that never get anything done in this world. It's people like you that never have any effect on changing the way things are going. It's people like you that aren't game changers. It's people like you that are spectators who just want to have fun your whole life and eat whatever the system puts in front of you, whether that be entertainment, food, garbage media, you name it. You people are consumers. And in fact, that's what they call the masses. Some of these higher up individuals in these secret societies and these institutes and people in high power refer to the masses as useless eaters. They call them the goyim, the cattle. We are sheep. Why do they call us sheep? Because sheep are easily led in different directions, even if that direction is your slaughter, ladies and gentlemen. So from my perspective, we were put here to have much more activation and much more, excuse me 1 minute. My phone keeps buzzing. We were put here to experience enlightenment, and we have now fallen short to the demiurge, which from a Gnostic perspective, which I'm not going to talk much about in this video, there's the true God, which is known as the monad, and then there is the demiurge, which is the false god that has taken over this world and pretty much destroyed everything. So again, I talk more about that on my Patreon page, the whole Gnosticism thing, but I'm not going to get into it now. I don't even know why I brought that up. Peace be with you all.